gonna be my boyfriend's sister's 23rd birthday. So we're gonna bake her a cake. Have I ever baked a birthday cake before? No. Have I ever baked a tiered cake before? No. Have I ever baked the type of cake that I'm going to bake now before? No. Have I ever baked with so many different components before? No. But we're going to start now and do the very best job that we can because we love her, we adore her, and she deserves the best. Let's go. I'm using Princess Pancake's olive oil cake recipe, which is available on our site. It's a solid cake and very straightforward to make, but very moist, which seems ideal, but it made it super difficult for me to cut into layers. But that may just be my lack of skill too. But also, it's important to hold yourself in high regard and never place blame on yourself unnecessarily. But this was probably definitely on me. I always like lining my tin with parchment paper completely to make it easy to lift out when baked, but more importantly, much easier to clean. My plan was for the final cake to have the dimensions of 2/3 of the cake with each section divided into 2 layers so that the final cake will have 3 layers if I lay out the halves of the 1/3 piece of cake side by side as a middle layer. I don't know how else to phrase that, so I'm trusting that you understood what I'm saying perfectly because you're a genius. I then put the cake into the freezer for easier layer slicing the next day. I also use a pistachio paste from Pancake Princess's recipe, but wait, I need acknowledgement on the 30 minutes I took to single-handedly deshell like so many pistachios because I'm cheap. I didn't want to shell out for the already deshelled ones, okay? Thank you. Anyways, I incorporated it into a Swiss meringue buttercream rather than the American buttercream she used for her cake because it's less sweet and heavy and incredibly silky. So as you can see, a Swiss meringue buttercream is admittedly a bit finicky, but I promise you it's so worth it, and unlike a lot of other frostings, this one is physically impossible to over whip, which is perfect for people like me who like to whip things into oblivion. After all the sugar is dissolved, you're going to whip until it's almost white and tripled in size, and you can also feel the size of the bowl to ensure the meringue has fully cooled down before adding your butter. Mine did melt my butter a bit, so it wasn't whipping up great, but no problemo because I just chucked it back into the fridge for a few minutes to firm up because you wish your ex-girlfriend was as forgiving as his buttercream, but she's not because she stands on business. In the meantime, I took my cake pieces out of the freezer to slice into layers, and you can see I'm having a very difficult time and cut very uneven layers. Like I did this weird cut from the top, then cut from the side to create a little mountain, but we're just gonna ignore that, okay? Because it's poor form to judge others, and you should work on that. And now that the cake's been layered, we're going to take the frosting out of the fridge and look how fast and beautifully it whips up. Then we're mixing a bit into the pistachio paste to loosen it up a bit before adding it into the whole batch. And make sure not to leave even a crumb of pistachio behind because that shit's expensive, and don't forget all of the hard labor we put into each individual pistachio nut, okay? So I did a taste test here, and to my utter dismay, you could barely taste the pistachio. So I very reluctantly went back to deshell the rest of the pistachio bag, which took another 20 minutes before creating more paste and adding into the buttercream, and it made only a smidgen of difference. Hooray. Oh my mom, because we're bougie up in here. But now we're finally onto the best part, layering and decorating! I did a cake layer, then a dabbing of almond vanilla simple syrup that I made, then the buttercream, then a layer of fancy pansy bon maman raspberry jam, which is the best raspberry jam, and repeat for another layer. Then cover it all up in frosting and decorate, and then you're done! Are you top layer? I'm just spinning so much. I've lost track of where I've soaked and where I haven't. Bruh! Look how focused I look. Why couldn't I be this focused in college? Anyways, I took inspiration from this Pinterest photo, and the Pinterest one does look ridiculously better than mine, but I think I separately also did okay. This is our drop-dead gorgeous birthday girl blowing out all 23 of her candles, and here's a view of the cross-section. I know it needs work and I'm gonna work on it, I promise. Okay, thank you, bye!